There's a community college professor in Mesa, Arizona, who has committed the sons and daughters of that state to a military partnership with a Persian Gulf Sultanate. And on Monday, the President of the United States threatened to bomb the shit out of that same Sultanate. In that room was the governor of Arizona. She was there that day. Not at the table. She was in the building. Governor Katie Hobbs, she flew from Phoenix to Muscat, Oman for that ceremony. She left on Friday, landed on Saturday. The ceremony was on Monday. She brought her chief of staff and a policy advisor. It was their second foreign trip of her governorship, and she'd been in office for about 9 weeks. Think about that for a second. Governor of a sovereign United state. 2 foreign policy trips outside the country in the first 2 months. She crossed 8,000 miles and 11 time zones to be in that room. She didn't sign the document. She stood there and watched as a community college professor, a member of her cabinet, signed it for her. Now, I want you to read, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, what her own press office put out afterwards. This is still on the Arizona governor's website. You can look it up for yourself. I promise it's there. It says, quote, as the governor and commander-in-chief of the Arizona National Guard, Governor Hobbs participated in a formal signing ceremony of this partnership in Muscat, Oman. Commander-in-chief of the Arizona National Guard. She used the title. She put the constitutional office in the sentence, in the press release. She reached for that authority. Then said that she participated in. Not signed the document, not executed it, not committed the state of Arizona to it, but that she participated in it. That's a woman who wanted every ounce of the credit and not 1 ounce of the signature. She wanted the title in the press release and somebody else's name on the document. What did she do with the rest of the trip? I'm going to read this from her own office again. She met with Secretary General of Oman's Ministry of Defense. She met with the American ambassador. She went to ministerial meetings on Tuesday. She toured a mosque. She toured a museum. She went to the American International School in Muscat and took questions from 8th graders. Cultural touring. That's the phrase her office used, cultural touring. She went as a tourist. She flew 8,000 miles to a foreign capital, invoked her constitutional authority as the commander-in-chief of the state militia in a press release, watched an appointee, a community college professor, sign that militia that she's the commander-in-chief of over to a foreign army, and then went to a goddamn museum. Let me close the loop because I want this to be party proof. Doug Ducey, a Republican, appointed that general, that community college professor, Kerry Mullenbeck, adjutant general, in April of 2021. And then he put a second star on her collar just a few moments later. Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, kept her and called her a valued member of the cabinet. Ducey, he teed up Oman, and Hobbs' administration signed it right into existence. Now, I want you to flip the governor's race. Flip it in either direction in any year you like. And you get the exact same signature on the exact same document in the exact same palace. The machine, it didn't care who won that election. The machine had a partnership in the queue, and that machine executed it. And 2 governors of 2 different parties stood there and held the machine's coat. So I want to issue a direct challenge. And I want to talk to the man who wants the job next. Congressman Andy Biggs, you won your primary in July. In November, the people of Arizona will decide whether you replace Katie Hobbs. Frankly, I hope you do. And I'm going to ask you 4 questions on this program tonight in public, and I'd like an answer to all 4 before Election Day. Before I ask them, I'm going to say the thing out loud that everybody watching already knows, because I'm not going to insult you by pretending that I don't know your record. On March 5th of this year, you voted against a resolution directing the president to remove American forces from unauthorized hostilities in Iran. You put out a statement saying his actions fall squarely within his Article 2 authority as commander-in-chief. But, Andy, 6 years earlier in 2020, you crossed your own party and voted the other way to require this same president to come to Congress, to you, before going to war with Iran. You were the same congressman It was the same country, and you provided an opposite answer. Now, I'm not here to burn you to the ground on that. I'm here because in about 10 weeks, you may hopefully become the commander-in-chief of the Arizona National Guard, and Arizona's Guardsmen deserve to know which Andy Biggs is taking that oath. So, 4 questions for you, sir. 1, where do you stand on the sons and daughters of Arizona being committed to a military arrangement with a nation the President of the United States is currently threatening to bomb the shit out of? Not a nation we're at war with, not a nation that attacked us, not a nation that you authorized a war in Congress for, a nation that Arizona has signed an unexpired, unpublished de facto treaty with, and a nation the commander-in-chief said on Monday that he would bomb if they got in the way. Question 2, will you refer this to your own state government? Will you ask the Arizona House and the Arizona Senate to hold one public hearing on the validity and the purpose of this state partnership agreement? What's in it? What it obligates? Who approved it? And why the elected representatives of this state have never seen the document? One hearing. That's the whole ask. The legislature you be working with every day of your governorship. Put it in their court. Question number 3. Will you exercise the authority of the Arizona Constitution that it gives you as the commander-in-chief of the Arizona National Guard and ensure that the resources of that guard and the lives inside of it are committed to the preservation and the safety and the defense of Arizona and her citizens? Not the security and the border between Oman and Yemen. Arizona has its own border, all its own. And Congressman, you've built an entire career on that fact alone. Finally, question 4, will you sign the Defend the Guard Act when it passes? Because the Arizona Senate has already passed it 3 times. It was the first legislative chamber in the country to do it. It has died in the House every single time, but that's going to change. If that bill reaches your desk in 2027, do you sign it, or do you do what governors of both parties have done in the states for 4 years running, which is nothing at all? Congressman Biggs, if the people of Arizona choose you in November, will you be Arizona first? Will you stand between your own militia, the militia that you command, and the arbitrary power of the federal government? Because Doug Ducey didn't do it when he was governor, and Katie Hobbs flew to Muscat and watched somebody else sign away your autonomy and your sovereignty. 2 governors, 2 parties, same result. And you're asking to be the 3rd governor in this chain. So the invitation's open. Congressman Biggs, come on this program with me. Answer these questions on camera. I'll give you all the time and all the latitude you need. I won't interrupt and I won't debate you. I'll let you get your position on the record. And then I'll share it with all the veterans and all the people that follow our show and the Defend the Guard effort.